Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Fish Sandwich Patrol bringing you another Shogun Total War 2 multiplayer online video. I'm going to go up against a large Fall of the Samurai army. I noticed in one of my recent videos, people commented asking if it was pretty much a given that Fall of the Samurai armies are more powerful than normal armies. So that's absolutely not true, and it's actually can be very, very easy to defeat a Fall of the Samurai army. So I'm going to show you sort of a basic composition that you can use when going against Fall of the Samurai army that works really, really well. So you have three lines of your infantry. You have a front line of attendants. I like sword attendants because they have a little better charge and they're cheaper than the Naginata attendants, but it doesn't really matter because they usually break and run before the battle even starts. So they're just there to be meat shields, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. Your second line is going to want to be no-dachis for two reasons. One is you can use the bonsai skill to make them unbreakable for a short period of time, which means they will pretty much guaranteed make it to the enemy line. And of course they have that huge charge to make a big dent in the enemy right away. And then your third line is going to be your katana samurai to just clean up after the no-dachis have done their charge and you've closed the distance and they're not shooting anymore. I also brought a couple other units. I got two spears, a samurai and an ashigaru just to help ward off cavalry. Usually you don't see too much cavalry with all the samurai armies, but they pretty often bring two or three, so it's good to have some spears to watch for that. And I got a match like Ashigaru just to spend some money and to be a meat shield. I kind of screwed up on my deployment of him, but we'll get to that. So we're at one of these new maps. I forget what the name was, but that's my army composition. The enemy is going to be just a nice little mixture of Fall of the Samurai, or Rise of the Samurai. No, Fall of the Samurai units, like Tosa Riflemen, Black Bear Infantry, and White Bear Infantry. So talking about Fall of the Samurai, if you deploy your Fall of the Samurai units in a single line, like one really big long line, that's a really bad idea because it's very, very easy to close the distance and just get hacked up. And if you have no defense in depth, you will just lose the infantry battle almost immediately. So big mistakes done by this guy. I know he looks pretty clumped up here, which you do not want to do when you're using gunpowder units. Obviously, you want that long line for them to be able to shoot, but he will spread out his line here in a little bit. So he's got a nice little mixture of these rifle units. He's got one spear levy here in the back, and then three Yariki, which are actually a very scary cavalry unit. If we're looking at their stats, 12 melee attack. He's a veteran. Or he must have like a retainer or something. So, 12 melee attack is pretty crazy. Yari cavalry only have 5, and the melee defense of the Yariki is 4 compared to the Yari cavalry is 1. So Yariki will definitely win that battle. Charge bonus, I think, is actually on the Yari cavalry side. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, charge bonus is on the Yari cavalry side. So if you do get a good charge into Yariki, you have a chance at winning, but most likely they will lose the melee fight. So I also have 3 Yari cavalry in case I forgot to mention. So I'm just kind of deploying here. Got the shrine, which is a great building to have against Fall of the Samurai units. Jeez, can't speak today. He's got the farmhouse, which is another really great building to have against Fall of the Samurai armies. But unfortunately, that's going to go to him in this battle. So there we go, just on triple speed. Speed this up a little bit so we can get to the action. Deploy your force out in a nice long line, as long as his is, basically. You want your size to match his, so you can tie down all the units. Now what I was trying to do is keep my spears on the right, my right, where his cavalry was, like over here. But then he moved his cavalry over when I moved mine over here. I was trying to overwhelm the side that was weak on cavalry, but he responds to that and brings all his cavalry onto this side. So you see he's spreading out in a decently wide formation, so he's still kind of clumped up. Maybe not the most experienced Fall of the Samurai user, but yeah, that's basically what he's doing. But it'd be a lot more useful if what he did was spread out one line of infantry here in the front, really wide, and then put a second or even a third back here, because you really want that defense in depth. Because if a normal Shogun 2 player knows what he's doing, like what I'm doing right here, they can close to get the distance with that first line super, super easily, as I'll show you. So you really want defense in depth if you're going to use a Fall of the Samurai army. You need that second line just to support that first line when they get run down. So here I'm setting up, just making my last preparations. I was going to send my match like Ashigaru. As I said, I made a mistake. I kind of forgot about him, and I forgot to order them until after I ordered the sword attendants. They ended up behind the front line and ended up being pretty useless. As you see, I wanted them out here in front to get an initial volley off and take some shots. But here I go on the offensive in just a second. So in my typical way to attack, you just right-click right in front of the enemy line, spread it out nice and wide, get them running, and then when they're really close, then you want to issue the charge order to ensure that you get a nice charge off. So that's what I'm going to do here. Just waiting for my spears to get in position. I will fast forward a little bit. I want my spears on the side with the cavalry, obviously, just hoping I can pin them down with my Yari cavalry so my Yari samurai can clean up. So here we go. Here comes the assault. The sword attendants are going first to take those initial volleys. Unfortunately, I have no terrain advantage. It's a perfectly flat field of fire, just absolutely gorgeous for him. But it doesn't really matter. All I need to do is just close the distance. Only lost 5 men in that volley. So he's not losing too many men here, but they will get mowed down before they make it to the front line. 39 left in this central unit. So I'm going to issue the charge orders, and we're going to try and close this line. And like I said earlier about the Nodachis, a really great reason to have them is because the bonsai, and there you go, you can hear it popping there right before I engage the lines, and we're going to get the charge off. I didn't get to see how good the charge was in the actual battle, so let's just take a look here and see the effectiveness of this Nodachi charge. And I got 15 of them, not too bad. Some of the katanas are going to go once we've pinned them down. Unfortunately, didn't pin down this one, so I'm going to send a katana over to clean that up. His cavalry is sort of caught off guard here, maybe watching the infantry too much, and I actually set up the spear wall right in the way of his cavalry, which they were sneaking up there, and they may not even have seen him. They're going to get tied down by the spears right away. And as you can see, we got wavering on my sword attendants. They actually ended up making it to the front line, but look at that. We got a master out almost immediately, as they're just getting torn apart by the swords. Follow the samurai armies just can't stand against katana samurai and a big Nodachi charge. And very easy, bringing in my general here to just sort of clean up. So it really illustrates, if you got that follow the samurai army, you need that defense in depth, or that'll happen. If a normal Shogun player knows what he's doing, you can very easily close the distance with minimal casualties, any of your good troops, and just absolutely destroying. This katana samurai is full health. Like my katana is, look at that, 106. And my katana is 99 in that one, 99 in that one, and the line's just going to mass her out. So actually very easy to close the gap against the Follow the Samurai army if you know what you're doing. But you got to watch out if they have that, defense in depth, those 2 or 3 lines. But fortunately, you saw how fast they broke. They'll actually run pretty fast if you manage to close that distance and you get those Nodachi charges and stuff. So even with the defense in depth, definitely doable. Follow the Samurai armies are definitely not an invincible juggernaut. They're not especially overpowered or anything. You just got to know how to deal with them, and that's a good way to do it. Most Follow the Samurai players don't use that defense in depth. The good ones do, and that can be very, very difficult to deal with. But yeah, any basic Follow the Samurai army where they just deploy in a single line, very easy. Just be sure to bring those attendants up in front to soak up the bullets. Again, my sword attendants actually managed to make it to the front line, which I was kind of surprised about. I thought they'd rout, but their morale is actually pretty decent. It's like 8 or 9 without any buffs, so actually quite good. And they have a decent charge bonus, so you can get some good casualties on your sword attendants before your Nodachis even make it there. Then, of course, the katanas come and clean up. Just take a look at the statistics real quick and see what sort of kill counts we had. They only lost 672 men. I mean, sword attendants got absolutely ravaged, but a couple of them managed some decent kills. One got 36. Look at that, 184 kills in the Nodachi Samurai. They just carve up those Follow the Samurai units, just absolutely decimating them. And the Yaris don't get too many kills, but overall, that's pretty much a general way how to deal with Follow the Samurai armies. Even if they do have that defense in depth, it can generally be pretty easy to smash through that front line and sort of deal with it. So I just want to throw that battle out there just to give you guys an idea of what to do against Follow the Samurai army if you don't have a whole lot of experience playing against them. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the battlefield.